Let's get started. We're 5 minutes after. All right, maybe I should do that. Who has submitted their application or is accepted through Utah to do Ron?
Yeah.
So Ashley, Amy, and myself. Is that right? Did I get it? Is that it? There's three of us that's on here. Okay, awesome. Ashley, are you doing a lot of Ron? Oh, you're muted. You're muted, Ashley.
I want to, but I don't know if it's just you have to bring your own clientele to do Ron or
Got it.
really sure.
And Amy, that's kind of your question too, right? About how to bring people onto Ron. Is that what you're kind of asking about that?
Yeah, I've been on I only recently got in October approved for Ron at the very end with Utah. And then I have been trying to get on Blue Notary just to grab calls, and I have not been successful at that. Thought about canceling it because I'm like, I see calls do come in. I get emails, but it's just I can't seem to grab it fast enough. I don't know if my internet speed, I know we can go into that probably. But
Had the
I
same.
do see I do see that likely we have to, definitely, and they're upfront about it. You've got to build your business with it, not just depend on their calls. They're very upfront about that. So I can see that that is totally true.
Yeah. So you are currently on Blue Notary. Actually, what platform are you on?
Blue Notary as well.
Okay. I know we have a few people just joined. Anyone else doing Ron or is approved with the state? Does everyone know what to do to get on Ron with the state? How to get approved with it? So um so what you'll do is you'll just go to the website, like when you got your commission, notary.utah.gov. So notary.utah.gov. And you're just gonna do like as if you're gonna start. Like it's in fact, let me look at it real quick. Um, it's like start the process to become a notary. That's what it is. So you just click on that start the process to become a notary, and then you're going to click on start the remote online. And so it's real easy because all you have to do is you already have to have a commission. So everyone on here is commissioned, right? I'm looking at the list. I recognize like 98% of everyone on this list.
I'm waiting on my commission.
You're waiting on your commission?
Yeah, but I do plan on going Ron once I get it.
Yeah. And so it's an easy process. You submit an application online. It's like 2 pages. You get it, you fill it out, you get it
Just
annotated.
put your clothes on your bed.
Oh, Rochelle, I can hear you. Um, so you submit, it's like 2 pages, you get it notarized, you submit it, and you submit it with $50. And then you have to show proof that you have increased your bond to 10,000. So you have to double your bond basically. And that's it. So just be currently commissioned, double your bond to 10,000 and submit the application with $50. So that's the process. So once you're already a commission notary. But I've been saying for a while. So Utah's been approved for about 5 years to do Ron now, but still it's not a lot of people are doing it. Not a lot of people are doing Ron. And when I say that, I mean a lot of people in the real estate world are not doing Ron. A lot of people are not doing Ron in the real estate world. But there's platforms like we talk about Blue Notary where random people are just signing up saying, "Hey, I want something notarized." So, all right, a few more people have joined in. Hey, what is it called? Start your videos, everyone. That's on. Let's not be shy. Start your videos. Amy, you have a question? I saw your hand raised.
Yeah, I found out something when I went to go. I don't know if all companies do this, but when I called, I got my bond through the NNA, and when I called them to double my bond, they actually do it as a writer for free. So if you have the
Oh,
5,000 with, and I don't know if others do it, and I don't know if I just got a great person that was willing to tell me that because I was like, okay, how much is this going to cost me? And she's like, actually, in Utah, they we have a writer and it doubles it for free.
That's pretty cool. I paid
Yeah.
for that, but that's cool.
Somebody didn't tell you. And so I was like, oh, that's horrible that, like I was ready to pay for it too. So yeah, ask him about the writer.
Okay, that's a great tip. Thanks, Amy, for sharing that. So if you guys didn't catch that, Amy's saying if you have your bond already with the NNA for 5,000, you can ask them for the RON to double it for 10,000. In Utah, they might be doing it free right now. So that is pretty awesome. One thing I would say is also when you're submitting your application with the state to do RON, they do want your digital certificate. So basically it's your stamp, but a digital stamp. So when you're searching for the platform, you need to have a platform picked out, but maybe find one that actually will provide you with a stamp. That's that's pretty convenient too. That's an extra step. Because when I first got my RON, I was being almost you could say sponsored by Amrock. And so I had to pay to use their digital certificate. And some platforms now will just do it for free. I think Blue Notary does it for free. So that's pretty nice. Yeah. Is anyone thinking about getting in the process of getting their RON? All right, a lot of heads nodding. Yeah, so let's go to the website, notary.utah.gov. Yeah, you want to look at platforms. There's an approved list. I know I actually was talking to some of my clients in my escrow offices, and they were using a platform that's not approved in Utah anymore. It was at one point, but they're not anymore, and they were using it. I'm like, because they were asking me what platform I use, and they told me what platform they use, and I said, you can't. That's not authorized. You can't even be using that platform. They didn't even know about that. So I taught them about that. So make sure it's an approved platform that's on the website again, notary.utah.gov. They will list all the approved platforms for you to get on. And I'll just walk you through the steps. It's real easy. But again, I've been telling people it's kind of what you're looking for. If you're looking to just sit at your desk and wait for kind of jobs to appear, there's nothing wrong with that, by the way. I know somebody here in Utah that does it. She uses Notary Cam. And so that's a platform that she gets on, and there's just jobs that come in, and she just accepts them. Blue Notary, kind of what Amy was talking about earlier, they're also a platform that you can jump on, and jobs will kind of come in, and you can just click yes or no. I have it disabled, but I can if I wanted. Let's just say I wasn't feeling well one day, and I didn't want to go out and do signings. I could just sit at my desk, turn on the notifications, and if they roll in, I can give me quick on the trigger, say, yeah, I'm available because it gets sent out to everybody. It's just like a job board and just click, yes, I'm available for it. But that's how that works. I want to see what questions people have about getting started with Ron, platforms, the process, the journaling. What questions do you have? You can hit the raise hand icon. There's a raise hand icon, and that'll let me know you have questions. I'll be more than happy to answer questions. That's what this meetup for today is about. Is we're going to ask a lot of Ron questions. If we have time at the end, we can ask any other questions. So hit the hand raise. If you can't find us, Neely, you're actually physically raising your hand. That's fine. Go ahead, unmute yourself. What question do you have?
So I guess my question is, as far as loan signing goes, is it really the title company that dictates the RON closing, or is it the lender?
Both.
So
They both have to approve it.
Okay. And then I've also heard that RON signings, like I can accept jobs from outside of Utah.
Yeah, so I actually talked to the Lieutenant Governor's notary office about this. So basically, if you are a Utah Notary Commission and you are commissioned for RON with the state, you're approved. As long as you're in Utah, you can notarize anything for anyone, anywhere in the world.
Now, do we have to follow Utah laws when doing that, or follow where the client is at?
Utah laws.
Okay.
Yeah, we follow Utah laws. And a good thing to do is also when you're checking platforms, make sure they have a journal process. So the platform that I'm using, it records. The moment we log in, it records, and that's the journal. That's the actual journal because it's recording the whole transaction. And so your original question, it has to be the lender and the title both need to say, yes, it's okay to do it. A lot of lenders are not quick to adapting it, but a lot of the title companies are adapting it, especially with seller transactions, because it's only them that deal with it, the title company. But yeah, as long as you're in Utah, I've done people in Hawaii, New Zealand, Colombia, Mexico, and yeah, those are kind of like outside of the continental US that I've done. Plus, I've done people here in the US.
That
Yeah.
shocks me because it's been so hard for me to grab a notary when I'm on Blue Notary. Like you said, you have to be quick. Like you can't,
Oh,
like if it's got two screens, you cannot be looking at the screen. You will not, because they don't ding. No, there's no noise. Like you've
right.
got to be staring at the screen.
It was not on the job board. It was my clients. It was one of
Okay.
my clients. Yeah.
I see. I see. I see.
Yeah.
Okay. So we might not get those routed to us, but we can personally offer that to anyone.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, that answers a whole nother question I had because I have gone into escrow offices and they're like, "Oh, we only do Ron," probably because their homes are elsewhere, right? And I've wondered,
Yeah.
oh, how do we fit with that? So, okay, cool. That's great. Thank you.
Yeah. And some platforms too that you brought up an idea because I just thought of a situation I just dealt with yesterday with one. Some platforms are what they call biometric, and KBA, I just lost it. I just lost it, but yeah, initials. So the KBA is when they put in their social, and then because they put in their social, it'll generate questions. And you probably have done this in some aspect of your life where it's just asking, okay, where have you lived before based on your social, and it'll list you some addresses, and you can just mark yes, I lived there, or no, I didn't live there. What car have you purchased? Things like that. Or there's biometric. So if you have a smartphone and you can look at your phone and your Face ID will unlock your phone, that's biometric. So I use biometric most of the time because what they do is they just hold up their ID to the camera and it will scan their ID, and then they'll hold their face up to it and it'll scan their face and it'll say, oh, yeah, that's you. And because sometimes I deal with investors. So they've bought in the last year 10 houses. And they don't remember every address. So it says, which address have you owned? They're like, I don't remember. Like I just flipped these after 6 months. I don't remember the address. So I use a platform that offers biometric because of that. I've had that issue.
What platform do you use?
I do use Blue Notary
Okay.
just because they are one of the few that I found that does biometric. So I did like that because when I first was looking into a program, I had situations where the exact situation I just shared. People are trying to log in, they don't remember previous addresses because they were investors and they were flippers. They couldn't remember any of the addresses. They failed it. And once you fail the questions, you cannot get back on a platform, a RON platform for 24 hours. So once they have failed it, they cannot get on for 24 hours. So yeah, so that's why I did biometric. It just makes it easier. Just scan your ID, scan your face. If I'll share with you my script that I do when I'm setting up an appointment. So when I'm getting the information, I want their names, I want a phone number, and I want their email addresses. So most of the time, you don't need an email address. You just need a phone number and an address because you're saying, hey, I want to confirm where I'm going. But with Ron, I need their email address. And again, check with your platform. My platform, each individual signing, let's just say it's a husband and wife that are signing on a sale, they each need to be on their own device, so they can't share a computer to do it, and they can't do one at a time. They can't go on one, do it, log off, and the other one logs in. They have to be on at the same time on separate devices. And so I just make them go in separate rooms because you get that feedback noise. But I prefer they use computers. It's a lot more stable, but they can do cell phones. I've done it on the road. People have been driving, they were moving, and so they were on the road. They just pulled over, and we did it. Each one just did their one went out the car, one stayed in the car, and we just did it on their cell phones. Wasn't as smooth, by the way. It's a lot better when they have a computer. This is why I tell them, because usually think of loan signings. And again, I'm not talking Ron just on loan signings. We can talk about Ron on any type of aspect. But if you're going to do a loan signing, you're calling the appointment, saying, okay, all right, I'm just verifying this is you, and this is the appointment, this is the date, this is the time, this is the address, and you have valid ID. So that's basically typical of when you're confirming a loan signing. However, on a Ron, what I do is I just call them up and say, okay, I'm just confirming the day and time. And they say, yeah. And I confirm because now I'm dealing with time zones. So I don't usually have to do that because in Utah, we're all in one time zone. But when I'm doing Ron, I confirm the time zones too. Okay, so 8:30 in your time zone, is that correct? And they say, yeah. So I'm confirming time zones. I'm confirming their email addresses. And I'm confirming they're going to have valid government ID, non-expired. I'll usually ask them, what kind of ID will you be using? Driver's license, passports. I usually will ask that over the phone. And that's okay, great. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to send you an email invite. And you each are going to get one sent to your devices. And you both have to be on at the same time on separate devices. This is what I'm telling them over the phone. You both have to be on same time, separate devices. Click your own link that I send you. Have your ID ready because you're going to scan it on the computer camera, and then you're going to scan your face. That's going to how we're going to verify that's you. And my platform will then snap a picture of their ID. So now I have a picture of their ID. So this is all that I confirm with the signers when I'm going to do a Ron. I confirm the exact time because now I'm dealing with time zones. They will have government ID and what type of ID will they have? And I give them some instructions of, I'm going to send you the email link. Is this the correct email address? Click on your own individual link. You have to be on the same time. Have your ID in hand. You will scan your ID on the camera, and then it will scan your face. Because again, I do the biometric. And then that's kind of how I confirm it beforehand. And just to kind of give you an idea of what it's like, I personally don't change my fees because I'm not driving and printing, but the platforms take some money to use. And when this first rolled out about 5 years ago, a lot of the platforms were like $50 to $75 just to use each time. And now they're more reasonable. So again, like I'm using Blue Notary is just an example. Again, I'm not encouraging anyone to choose any platform. That's just what I'm using. But they charge like, I think it's 25 to 27 each transaction. And it's like 25 to 27 a month just to have access to it. So I pay 25 to 27 a month just to have access to it. So like I tell a lot of people, don't necessarily do Ron unless it's time to do Ron. And I just started about 3 months ago. So again, it's been approved for 5 years. I got on with a company that kind of sponsored me, 3 or 4 years ago. And so I had to pay for the application, but I wasn't paying any monthly subscriptions. Only if they had one for me, they had their own Ron platform. And I just used their own. I wasn't paying for anything, but it was only for theirs. It was only for theirs. But now I started getting more requests for it. So now was the time I've been getting on Ron. So if you don't have the funds to pay 25 a month just to have the access to it, maybe it's not ready for you. But maybe do your research is what I'm saying. Is maybe do your research, because when the time comes, when maybe you're asked to do it, you know what to do. Just okay, let me just pay the monthly subscription and get on. And you can do that. And on Ron, I can't remember the fees now. Does anyone remember the fees that we can charge on Ron? I want to say it's $20. Am I correct? Does anyone remember? Anyone know?
I think that is 25.
It's 25. I was wondering if it was 20, 25. Yeah. So with general notary work, you can charge $10 per signature. With Ron, you can charge $25. So that's there's a benefit there. There's some some marketing strategy that might have to take place to kind of get it out there that you do that, or you can get on the job boards. But I just want to kind of share that information with everyone as well. What other questions? You can hit the raise hand, or you can raise your hand, or just speak up. Neil, you got another question? You're muted.
Said sorry, I have a lot of questions.
Yeah. You're fine.
So we're talking about charges and billing. Do you collect payment directly on the platform, or do you still invoice the title company?
Great question. So a couple options. And again, check with the platform, because each platform might have their own thing. The platform I use, another thing I like that too, is either The clients can pay right there on the platform, or you can bill them outside. So an example, I'm mostly just doing loan signings on Ron. And so I'm billing the signers outside because I'm actually not billing the signers at all. So I do everything on Ron. The platform then charges me, and then I send an invoice to my client. That's with loan signings. With the Ron, you can have the people when they log in and they're going to show their ID and everything like that, they can actually just pay for the service there as well. So check with the platforms, but every platform will be a little different as well. That's a great question. Did I answer your question?
It did.
Okay,
And I have
perfect.
more questions, but I want to like allow everyone else to ask their
All
questions.
right. Wanda was raising her hand.
Hi, I just want to know, do you have Blue Notary like you mentioned? I have Blue Notary.
Yeah.
Um, at this time, I just made a couple of general notary work on it, and most of them I'm being seen it was my friends that I was doing some favor for them, and I would charge. I told them that I told Blue Notary that I was charging outside the platform,
Uh-huh.
so in that way they don't charge to them. But they ended up getting a receipt like for $3, like basically that $3 was paid for them. Do you have
They
that
enter
kind
in
of
their bank
issue?
information or debit card or credit card.
Yes, I have my credit card because I pay my monthly subscription from there.
Yeah.
So they charge me after the session, they charge me the $3 fee. I think that is for the recording and all that stuff. But they ended up sending a receipt to my client.
Oh.
So I don't know if you have that kind of, or somebody mentioned you that kind of uh thing that they do.
No, no one mentioned it to me. I definitely got billed, so I didn't. They
Because I
didn't.
get billed, but they get
Yeah.
they
They
and
got
they
a
send me
receipt.
the receipt, but they send the receipt to them too.
Yeah, I don't know. I've never
And
heard of
it's
that.
kind of weird because if it is a real client and you want to build an outside, they're gonna say, "Oh, but they just sent me a receipt of $3." It's like, I
Yeah,
don't
so
know.
yeah, if you look at I don't know what it shows on. I have no idea. I have to see it, but I don't know if it
Mhm.
shows your card or your account was charged. If they, I guess if they ask you, say, as you can see, it was mine.
Or they charge me the monthly fee, obviously, like
Right.
every single month.
Well,
But every
I
time
guess
that
I'm
I
just
do,
maybe I'm
every
confused.
time.
Are you worried that they're worried? Are the signers worried that they got charged? Like maybe I'm confused by your question.
My friend asked me said, "Did I got charged?" And I say, "No, it's not. It's not supposed to." And then they told me, "Oh no, it's just a receipt that the
Yeah.
$3 was paid off." And I was
Yeah.
like, "I know should be sending that because I put like I was filing,
Yeah, I am not
outside."
an employee of Blue Notary, so I
Okay,
don't know. That's
I
a
was just asking
technical
if you
question.
were having that kind of issue
Yeah,
before.
I've no one's ever told me. No
Mhm.
one's ever told me. Was that a
Okay.
general notary work or was that
Yes.
a okay? Yeah,
Yes.
because I've only done loan signings on there, so I
Okay.
don't know.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah. Other questions, Neely?
So I've never like done any signings at all, period. But when you're on these platforms, is it like when you receive a DocuSign where the areas to sign are already highlighted? So like I just have to walk them through like,
Oh,
you know?
yeah. Actually, great question. So we pre-tag them. So I need documents as early as possible. So
Mhm.
most of the time when you're doing signings or like loan signings, for example, you want documents because you need time to print and drive. We also need that time because we need to pre-tag them. So basically, again, I can only speak on the platform that I use, but check out platforms that best fit you. But there are what they call hot tools on the side, and I can drag boxes. And there's signature boxes, there's there's dates, there's text.
Mhm.
So I can drag and drop the date and it will put the date in there. So the date is already pre-filled. And I can drag a box that will say customer signature. So basically they click on that and they can choose their signature. They can choose to use their mouse and sign it, and they can use that every time, or they can choose one of those like DocuSign, they can use one of those pre-printed signatures.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Okay,
And
so
then you
it's
drag your
something that
seal.
we highlight the boxes, so the title company's not doing that ahead of time.
Correct. That's right. The platform will do it.
Okay.
Yeah, you do it through the platform. In my example, yeah, the platform, it has these hot tools to drag things over. And they've got great things. For example, I had a client, this was just, I want to say Wednesday or Thursday, and they had, it's the 18th. So it was Wednesday, or whatever the 15th was, whatever the 15th was. So everything was for the 15th, but everything was dated pre-printed for the 7th. Okay, just wanted to give you a heads up title. Everything's pre-printed for the 7th. Do you want it that way, or do you want to change it? They say, yeah, please change it to the 15th. So what's nice is there's whiteout. Now, I say this to make sure everyone understands. During loan signings, can you use physical whiteout? No, you cannot. No, never use whiteout ever. But digitally, can you use whiteout? Yeah, that's just what they call it on the platform I use. It's just called whiteout. But I know a lot of people get like, whoa, we can't do whiteout. Well, hold up. No, you can't get white paste and spread that on paper. No, you cannot do that. But yes, you can use it on a digital format because they're looking at it. I was just changing the date. So I whited out the date, put in the right date, and took extra time to do that because I changed it on all the pages. But yeah, so anyway, back to your original question. I just wanted a little side note, but back to your original question. Yeah, you're gonna this is called pre-tagging. So you're just gonna pre-tag the dates, initials, signature boxes. They just have to touch it and go. Yeah. So it will be like DocuSign when they get to it in the platform I use. Lisa, are you raising your hand?
I am. I am. I
Okay.
am. I've got a couple of questions. And I know part of this is going to be just about overcoming objections, but how much pushback do you get when you tell these signers that they have to have separate computers?
None. I just tell them that's just
None?
how it is. They're the one that wanted it wrong, right? They're the ones that asked for it. So right, you want it, you need to be on separate devices. So yeah, I've had situations though where like I said, they've just had to use their phone. So I don't know anyone almost anymore that does not have a camera on their smartphone. I mean, just about everybody now. So everyone's got access. I do tell them to make sure they have a good internet connection though.
Okay.
That
So
is one
that
thing.
I just out of curiosity, because I know that, I mean, with what I do in my other position, I get pushed back up. Well, she doesn't have her own email and you just kind of laugh. You're like, well, then make one.
Yep, that's what we did.
Make,
The people in New Zealand, one of them didn't have an email, or they don't remember their password. I'm gonna create a new email. Create a new email.
yeah,
Yeah, it's free. I
make,
mean, it's free.
make, and
Gmail,
then the other,
Yahoo, Hotmail, it's all free. Just create a new email.
right? Yeah,
Mhm.
trust me, I hear it all the time. But that's kind of where I was thinking, oh, great. Now you have to tell people you have to have two separate computers. You have to
Yeah,
log in two separate times. And I'm wondering how they push back on that or how much pushback you've ever gotten. The other
yeah, not
is
much. I just tell them to have their own devices, and they do.
with the IDs on that, then how, so you're just having them take pictures of their licenses. I mean, there's other acceptable forms of IDs. How often do you run into them not using a license? Like somebody the other day was talking about one whose license was expired. And I don't know if it ever ended up that they actually had the paper temporary one or not. I mean, they didn't actually mention that other people did. Said, oh, I'll just take the
Yeah,
temporary one too.
yeah. I responded that I
Well,
do. Um,
right. Just curious as to wonder if their license is expired or if they don't have a proper ID, do you just stop the signing at that moment? Do you call the
like I
title
said, I
company at that
verified
moment?
I verified beforehand that they do have valid ID, and I ask what they have. So I do that beforehand, so I don't have to worry about that when the time comes. So I do that
Yep,
beforehand. But I've only had people use driver's licenses and passports. I've never had anyone use anything other than. So yeah.
yep. Great. Thank you.
Wanda, I think you're raising your hand again.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
Yeah, don't apologize.
I have this question because I know that we say that we don't want to have like expire ID. Do you know what is the term when you have a clients that have like expire ID? Because I know that some states says that you can accept the expire ID as an ID. Maybe it is like within a year or 6 months or 2 months. How for Utah? Because I tried to find out information about it, but I can't find it.
I don't know. I heard they did something during COVID for that. They allowed, I don't know, we're out of COVID. I don't know. I haven't followed up with the state. I'm not sure. I mean, we're able to use credible witnesses and but yeah, I don't really know the
Because
answer.
I have a situation like probably like 2 weeks ago where I have to go and do this signing order uh, for this. There was a couple that they were old people. They came in to Utah to visit one of their family, but they were doing like a loan modification in California. And he came in, his license was expired like in February. He already made all the procedures to get his new license, but it was on his way. Obviously, he didn't have it with him, but he was having the passport, like the ID passport. So, and I was kind of confused which one should I use. And that was like, it was okay to use it. I was kind of like, I ended up using his passport anyways.
Yeah.
But
I mean the handbook, the Utah handbook says a valid government issued ID that has a
yes.
picture, signature,
Mm-hmm.
and description. So that's
Yeah.
what, you know.
Both of them, they were having the description, pictures, and everything. But I was kind of like, I always get that question in my mind because even when I have the book for the primer Utah notary or something like that, I never find that kind of information about the driver
Can
license.
I would like to share, and my camera's not working. Can you hear me? This is
Yeah, I can hear
Rochelle.
you, Rochelle.
Okay, so I called the NNA in regards to ID, and they state it pretty clearly that they have to have a current form of ID, and it needs to be the original copy. So, and she did send me a document with that information. I don't know how to share things on here, but she emailed it to me.
Well, let me ask you this, Rochelle. The information that she shared with you, where did that come from? From the state of Utah?
It just from the NNA and the Utah. I don't know. Every time I have issues, I call the NNA and they pull out the Utah laws. So I could read it, what she sent to me.
Sure. And it
Hold
came
on.
from Utah, what she sent you?
Yes.
Sure.
The verbiage. Hold on.
Sure. And while you look for that, I just want to state the NNA is a great resource. They are a great tool, but they are not law. They are trying to answer everyone in the country's questions. So anytime I always question everything. Okay, I question everything. So unless it comes from the state, if it comes from the state, then all right, I got my answer. But I'm not saying the NNA is wrong. I'm just saying I'm always weary of anything the NNA says. I don't just accept everything they say.
Yeah. So, and I actually did try to call the notary, like the people who work for the state, and left a message, and they didn't get back to me. But I can't find where it is.
Yeah, just chime in if you find it. Go ahead and chime back
Okay.
in.
Okay.
Neely, you were asking a question in the chat. You said, do all title companies have their own raw notaries, or really a specialty that must be hired out? So just like notaries, most title companies, almost everyone in their office are notaries, and some are raw and some are not. Again, it's still so brand new. A lot of people, even in title and mortgage companies, are not utilizing it. So they might be approved to do raw, they're just not doing it. they haven't chosen a platform, they're nervous about using it, they're not familiar with it, and they just say, hey, can you do this? So what happens, or it's yeah, it could be for any reasons why they hire us out, but it happens all the time. So it's just like every office title company will have, they already have a lot of notaries in their office, but they still hire us out for whatever reason. Because they're busy, they're too busy answering emails, they're too busy with other clients, they're double booked, whatever reasons they are, they're still going to hire us out. That answer your question? Any other questions?
So, one more question. Sorry, I can't raise, I don't know how to raise my hand.
You're good,
But
Michelle.
so as far as, because we have a physical notary stamp, and I might have missed this if you gave this early. Do you have like a virtual stamp
Yeah,
for
it's called
documents?
it's called a digital certificate. And I did mention this earlier. Yeah, look for platforms. Some platforms offer it with their, so if you get it with their platform, they'll offer you digital certificates for free or at a price. Or you can go get your own. But yeah, even when you apply, you do need to already have that digital certificate. You need to have your platform chosen and the digital certificate before you even apply with the state. But yeah, it will be a stamp. So again, I use Blue Notary. On the side there are hot tools, and when it's time for me, I just drag over my seal and it will just basically puts the seal on there. It looks like a normal stamp, but then above it, it looks like a rectangular stamp, but above it does say something about online or digital or virtual or something like that.
Okay, so and does that align with, like, because your commission expires after 4 years? Would it align with my commission that I got through the state?
Yep.
Right.
When you get recommissioned, you'll have to go back through the certificate and do that as well. Get your, it's going to use your same expiration date, same commission number. Yeah, great question. Same commission number, same expiration date. So when it expires, it expires. You have to get it updated. Great question. Wanda asked in the chat, we have biometric state. Thank goodness we are a biometric state. Again, that if you miss what that is, that's when they scan your ID, scans a picture, then it scans your face. You'll need to answer all those questions. Yes. Neely asked, have you done a Ron with that requires a witness? Yes, I have. And so the platform charges to bring a witness on. Yeah. So it's an extra fee to bring an extra witness on. And I've had someone where, actually going back to the example, was the couple in New Zealand. They wanted their daughter to be on just as kind of there for support and maybe help to translate a little bit. They spoke English, but just in case they need help with translation, I had to pay for that. It's not much, it's a few bucks. I think less than $3 to $7. That might be the $3 that maybe one that you were talking about. Because I think I got charged $3 extra because I had a witness or an observer that was able to just be there as well. Diana, your hand's raised.
Does Blue Notary have the digital certificate, or did you get that separate? And if so, where? They do have it.
Mm-hmm.
So how would I get it prior to signing up for the subscription? Because you said you have to have it before.
At the same time, when you sign up, again, I'm not recommending any platform, but if you decided that you wanted to sign up with Blue Notary, you'll sign up and do your digital certificate all at the same time during the sign up process. So I already had my digital certificate when I was first sponsored by a company. Mm-hmm. And then when I got on the platform, I just used theirs. I didn't want to have to do some type of merging. And I was like, I don't want to do it. You're going to give it to me for free. I'll just use your, I'll just use yours and not have to worry about anything. So
okay,
that was nice.
Thanks.
Amy, your question's long. Go ahead and just ask it. I see your chat. Just ask it.
Yeah. So some of these platforms I've noticed, like, they have to approve us to be on their platform. And a couple of them have said, and I haven't gone through all of them, have said that we have to be a notary for a year in order to be approved to be on their platform. I mean, I see the value in that. I think a year is kind of long, but I guess, is there a way around that? I mean, is it so, or do they really stick to that? Maybe I just need to fill out the application and get rejected.
Yeah, I would say just call them and ask. Just how long have you been a notary?
April. So it's coming up, I guess.
Okay.
That'll fly by faster than I feel like right now.
Yeah, I mean, you just
But
call it, because you definitely want to call. I'll tell you this: you definitely want to call every platform that you're interested in. So get all the information. Go to their websites. So first, go to notary.utah.gov. Find out which platforms are approved. Then go to those platforms, research them, kind of ask questions in your, like, maybe take some notes first before you call them. But like, what's the price? What's the price?
Mhm.
Is there a monthly subscription? Is there a sign-on subscription? Because there was when I was looking at it, just to sign up was like $700-800 just to sign up with them. But they're accepted by a lot of companies. So I was on the fence about it. There was a sign up fee. There was a monthly fee. Is there a per transactional fee? Is there journaling? Is there support? You know, like if I have questions during my Ron process, will someone be there to answer my questions?
Mhm.
These are great questions to kind of take notes of. And then when you call, you can ask this question. Then that'd be a great question too. Like, hey, I've been a notary for 7-8 months. Can I still sign up with your platform? So,
Mhm.
so yeah, that's a great question. But yeah, get actually a list of questions available to you. If you are on Complete Notary Mentorship, there is a module on Ron, and it will list a lot of the questions that you want to ask when you're signing up for platforms. There are actually a good list of questions there.
You're
That's what
right.
I
I
do,
forgot
actually.
about that module.
Yeah, there's a great module there. I've actually done it 2 times. Before I signed up. It was a good module. Yeah, great question though. Any other questions? Yeah,
I have a couple
13
questions
minutes.
kind of
Yeah.
about that. The you said that you have to pay for your Ron notary stamp, right? And it expires the same time as your other notary stamp.
Yeah.
Is that right?
When
So,
you say pay, it
like,
depends on the platform. So some platforms will give it to you for free, some will make you pay.
okay, oh, but with the state of Utah, you still have to pay to become a Ron notary.
Yeah, it's $50
And that's a
application.
separate, right? Okay, so if your stamp, so my stamp right now expires in June of this next year. So I've been a notary for several years.
Uh-huh.
2 questions about that. So I'm going to have to renew, which is
Right.
great. But then you'll have to renew the digital also, the Ron also.
Yep. Yep. So
Okay.
the
And
platform you
then,
use, talk to them about that. Like, okay,
Mhm.
that's a great question too. That's a great question. So, all right, I'm getting my digital certificate and it expires in, 8 months. What's the process with you guys? Do I just submit to you my new commission? What's the process? They might have I'm sure every platform will have their own process. So that's a great question to ask them though.
okay, good question to ask them. And
Yeah.
and then the next question, oh, now I just lost my other question
I'm
with
sorry.
that. Good job. That's okay. That's me. I mean, that's what happens when you get old. So, and your name says Mark Willis. I just want you to know,
I know
Derek.
he pays for the Zoom, so I'll let it. I mean, I'll take it.
Oh, okay.
If I can take his income, I'll take it.
Is that right? I mean, well, I have a free one. I can do these for free. I don't know.
Yeah, but you're limited to
I
like
can set
40
up meetings.
minutes. Yeah, you're limited to like 40
Oh,
minutes, and
true. I think it's
so yeah,
45. Yeah. I don't know.
it's 40 now.
I don't know.
I was looking into it. It's 40
Is
now.
it?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
So this is
Um,
unlimited and it's recorded, and so yeah.
so I had another question. If I come back up with it, I'll let you know.
Okay. All right. 10 more minutes. Any other questions?
Oh, I do. I do remember it. The
Okay.
bond. Since I got my notary commission 4 years ago when I worked for another company, or whenever, however long ago it was. Um, and I've tried to call the state. I don't remember where my bond is, who my bond is with,
Okay.
because you were saying to be Ron, you have to have a $10,000 bond.
Yeah.
I've called the state to say, can I get a copy of my bond? But like Rochelle said, nobody ever calls back.
Um, how did you submit it? Did you submit it online or by email? How did you submit
I'm
your?
sure I submitted it online by email with my old company's email address,
Oh, got it. Got it.
which of course I don't have access to anymore.
Yeah, I don't know what to tell
So
you.
I'm trying to find out who my original bond is with, but I have no idea.
Yeah, I would have no
So
idea.
maybe it's just best to get a new one
Probably.
because the state
Probably.
should have a copy of that, shouldn't they?
Yeah, I mean, you said you sent it in when
Good.
you got your commission. You sent it in. So yeah, maybe just reach out to them again. I
It-
haven't had actually too much. I've had to call the state like a couple times ever, like not too many times, but it's just more asking questions for our community here. And I didn't really have an issue getting through to somebody. So I don't know if it's because I'm able to call in the middle of the day. I don't know if that helps, but
I've called multiple times and I've left. I mean, I always get a voicemail and I leave voicemails and I've never gotten a call back. So I
I
just need,
I had the
right?
same issue more lately. I used to be able, I was to say like Mark. I'm like, wait, your name is Mark Wills on here, Derek. That's so funny. That's awesome. Okay. So like Derek said, I was never having an issue getting through getting a person, but when it came to getting my Ron, I was only Lisa, I was only voicemails and like it took a while for them. That's one thing I learned about Ron. When you go to get approved, you'd think it'd be fast since we're already notaries. No, I mean it took time. I had to be patient with the process. But anyway, I finally got answers when I emailed them. And really, my application had sat there for 2 weeks. And I was like, why am I not hearing from them so that I
yeah,
can pay them? I want to pay them. I want to give them money. And it was just sitting there. Everything was done. And it was just sitting there. I had, anyway, when I emailed them the next day, they're like, oh, you're Ron approved. And I was like, that's what that took, but a voicemail did nothing. So
okay.
email them.
So you can get an email and maybe ask for a call in the email too. Neely, do you have more questions? You said you had a bunch.
Of course I do.
Okay.
Um, do you think that marketing Ron services to attorneys, like, do you think that they would like to have their trust and estate plans notarized this way, or do they prefer like more of an in-person signing?
That's a good question. I don't know. I haven't done a lot with attorneys. Um, but with the way Ron is, and when I say that, I mean it still feels like it's in the infant stages of it, even though it's been around for 5 years in Utah.
Mm.
That would not be my lead, me personally. My lead would not be Ron. My lead would be mobile notary service. Oh, and by the way, I can do a Ron for you as well. My lead would not be Ron. My lead would just be mobile notary. That can do Ron as well.
Okay.
Yeah. Other questions?
That's
Yeah.
that's how I'm doing it. And I did update my flyer. I don't have a copy around here where it says mobile notary and Ron services.
Mm.
So, but I agree. I think mobile first,
You guys want to hear a funny story?
especially for Utah. What's that?
Want to hear a funny story? I don't know about you guys, but I get spam calls, and because I'm a notary, spam calls, and they're somebody from, I'll just say my mom's from the Philippines, so I'll make fun of them. So someone from the Philippines, I can tell the accent, and they're trying to sell me toner or drums or paper or something like that, supplies. And I had someone else call me from another country, and I just I'm just annoyed. So they're all just scammers. And she was just asking something about Ron, and I just did like a very monotone voice and like, my name's not Ron, and I was just messing with it. I'm like, I got 5 minutes to kill. Let me mess with this scammer a little bit. So I kept saying, my name's not Ron. I'm like, what's your name? And I think she said her name was Esther. She's like, what's your name? I'm like, my name's Esther. My name's not Ron. Anyway, I just was scamming them for a minute. She finally got annoyed. She said something. She's like, oh, you're so annoying, or something like that. And she hung up on me. And I was like, that was fun. So speaking of Ron, I just wanted to waste the scammer's time a little bit. That was yesterday, actually.
Well, I have to admit something I did. I don't know if you guys have ever heard like a goat scream or a
Yeah.
llama scream. So I kept getting these spam calls too, and it was just like they were blowing up my phone. And one time I even answered and I was like, hello. And I immediately could tell it was a scam. So I clicked, the guy called right back. And also another country, it's a hired out, it's just like, so I literally just like took my phone and was like, and I gave a scream like that. And I
God
was
damn it.
just like, and then he hung up because he was like pissed. So now I don't know, lately there's been a lot of stuff going on in life. So that's kind of my entertainment. If they call me, I answer and I just do that kind of scream. I was like, what does
Yeah.
my scream sound like when I do that? And I realized I went and watched some YouTube videos. It sounds like a llama or a goat
Yeah,
screaming.
I've done that. I've yelled in the phone. I flushed the toilet over the phone. Put the phone right by the toilet and flush the toilet. I'll find
That's
out.
great.
I know some bad words in different languages, so I've said I'll call them names like that, and they don't like that. So that's always fun for me. Or we got 5 minutes. I
That's
have to leave
awesome.
in 5 minutes because I have two closings today, so I have to leave in 5 minutes. We got 5 more minutes. Any other questions?
I just want to speak to something that Derek knows. I reached out to him this week, and I was just so frustrated because, and hopefully, Derek, this is okay to talk about just as a
Sure.
team.
Yeah.
Um, so I experienced my second layoff in 4 months. And so I was just like, I was laid off just as soon as I came into this group. And then 6 weeks, I was just focusing on my business. And then I got another job offer. And then that company is downsized again, another company. And I'm just done with solar. So I'm like, I'm going full time. Well, I have an escrow office that has used me a good amount. And I'm so grateful for them. And I have a great relationship with them. And then there's this notary that comes in, or she's actually a realtor. And she said she hasn't had a lot of business for a while. So she's been doing loan signing. And I don't think she's ever been through LSS or anything. She just knows it because she's been a realtor. She loves to tell me, I've been a realtor for 12 years. I know the paperwork. I don't need training.
They
And
don't.
so I've noticed they're a very good company. They still bring me in, but I get glimpses of the sheet of who's getting, who's doing the signings. And she's getting like 3 or 4 a day, and I'm getting one, maybe two. And I was getting used a lot more. And I could tell when I came in, she had that kind of side look on me, like she's just a loan signing agent. She doesn't have experience beyond, I could just feel her. I'm not one that competes with other women, but I could feel that dynamic from her. And I think what's happened here is she's just lowered her price to where they kind of they can't. And I'm not saying I'm all that great or anything. I'm just racked my head, and that is just the one thing that comes to my mind. And so I reached out to Derek and I was like, do I lower my prices? And Derek gave great advice. And he just said, when we do that, we are, we are minimizing, or use a better word. I'm not looking at your message right
Devaluing
now, but we
our
are
jobs.
devaluing. Thank
Mhm.
you. Devaluing what we do, and we make our industry harder for all of us. And um I think they hadn't used her for a while, and she came in and saw me and then and it's not that they're not using me, it's just that they've definitely, I can see prices. Like, if you use me more, I'll do it for $100 or $75, and and I can tell they really appreciate it. And so I just, that's the only thing. Anyway, so all of that to say, Derek really helped me because, right now, this is my income right now. And so this is a very, I don't want to say scary time, but I have to be very intentional with my time and everything in order to not worry about getting another job and getting let go again, and, or laid off again because of solar sucks right now. And, anyway, I just really appreciated that. But what I did do is I went into them yesterday when I was bringing back one of their packs from doing a closing in Salt Lake. And I just sat down with both managers individually and I just said, is there anything else I can do to improve on my services for you? Or is there anything I can do to help your business? And they both said, no, we love you. You'll hear from us for some next week, when we get those set up. And so I'm going to do what Derek said. I am not lowering my prices. I don't want to cut my throat or any of our throats. I think it's important to keep this standard for us, all of us. And that, so thought on that as well,
Yeah,
or
you know,
experience.
I'll end with this. I told you to, even if it was my next door neighbor and they offer me $50 to just walk next door, I'm not going to do it just because I refuse. I dig my feet in the sand on two things, and one is I'm not going to break law. I'm not going to break the law for somebody. It's just not worth my commission to break the law. So I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to accept something I don't feel comfortable with. I'm just not going to break the law. I refuse. I also dig my feet in the sand where I'm not going to adjust my prices. I'm not going to devalue all of us because we are important. Our jobs, your job as a notary public, as a loan signing agent, are important. And it doesn't get done without us. People can't buy the home. People can't transfer the deed. People can't do anything without us. We are just as important as a lot of other roles. The appraiser, all these other third-party companies, we are also that, and we are just as important. The inspectors, all of that, everyone's important, and we are also very important. And I dig my foot in the sand on that because I refuse to devalue everyone that's in this job by reducing prices. You get what you pay for. That's how I feel about that. All right, guys, I gotta get to 2 signings today. Thank you all for joining in. Appreciate you on this Saturday. We're not going to have one in December, but January we'll be back at our meetups. Have a great holiday. Bye.
Thank you so much.